Hi, let's talk a little bit about the incentive question, ways to handle it. One of the things I notice a lot when watching video shops of not only our sales counselors but competition is that it's handled a whole lot of different ways. And unfortunately, a lot of that is involved with, we have $12,000 off and 2% incentive, or we have free electricity, or we've got a special promotion for granite and tile floors and sprinkler systems and so forth. And this is thrown out very early in the sales process. Well, the question I have is, why would anybody do that? And what do we hope to accomplish by providing that kind of information? Here's a key question to ask yourself. When a customer comes in the door and they throw this out, what number do you need to throw out that's going to get them excited? Is $10,000 off a great deal? $30,000, $50,000, free granite, garage door opener? What is it? I think that what we need to do is examine, when this question comes out, what sales trainers across the country have been saying, not just recently, but for years and years, and to understand that incentives are closing tools. They're not marketing tools. Yes, I know we have promotions where we'll put a sign in the yard and talk about something, but particularly in terms of in MHI with our SI, is that money that we have is designed to be used and customized specifically for the individual customer that comes in to meet their particular needs on a particular spec home or job or home to be built. So let's talk about this. When somebody comes in the door and they throw out the incentive question, what kind of incentives do you guys have? Let me here's a few suggestions. And I don't want you to just kind of think about it. I want you to memorize a couple of these and try it out. See how it works. Because the idea is to move the sale along and not do anything to commoditize the home or perhaps put us in a bad light if they've talked to competitors that might have on paper or on the surface of things offering a bigger discount than we do. So when somebody asks that question, here's an example. What kind of incentives do you have? We've got great incentives. We've got fantastic incentives right now. And once we find the right home for you, we can sit down and see what we need to do to make it work for you. That's one way. Here's another way. Well, these guys are offering $30,000 off. That's a pretty good deal. Look at them and go, and? Or what's your question? Ask them that. Change the tone of the conversation. If they come back and say, well, do you have that much off? You say, hey, look, I don't have any flat amount. It depends on the home. If I have a home sitting there ready to go, hey, I can give you a heck of a deal. All right. If you're going to build, I also have some incentives on that. But Mr. Buyer, isn't the most important thing finding the right home first? Because it doesn't really matter what kind of dollar amount or incentives I have. If you don't like the home, the incentives are irrelevant, right? Now, if you do this, first of all, you've told them you have great incentives. It's not like that you've dodged the question, but you've also left it open and told them that it depends on certain factors, or let's find the right home, or that we're going to sit down and customize it to your particular situation. Here's another one. Mr. Buyer, that's a good question. And I get that question all the time. The great thing is that you're looking at a perfect time in this market. I have never seen a market like this in years and years. In fact, you're fortunate to be able to buy a home right now because not only do we have these ridiculously low interest rates, in fact, I saw on the news the other night that They're low. They're the lowest since they've been keeping records. So we got people down around 4% mortgages right now. But you're going to get a great deal wherever you buy a home, whether it be my competitors here on the cul-de-sac or in other neighborhoods. From us, everybody's offering great incentives. So wherever you decide to buy a home, you don't have to worry about the deal you're going to get because you're going to get a great deal. But the most important thing is that you want to get a deal, but you want to get a deal on the home that you love. Isn't that right? Right. So what I like to do is, instead of talking about all these things, so we got fantastic deals and so forth, is let's sit down and find out what kind of home you're looking for, what's really important to you in the home, the big picture things, and then kind of narrow it down a little bit. If I have a home that works for you, we can sit down, show you what I've got available, and then we'll structure everything to where it works best for your particular situation. How's that sound? Now, once again, you notice when you do these things is that A, you have to be practiced, B, it has to come from the heart, you have to be sincere, and you have to be confident. No different than if you were going to talk to a professional in any business. If you went to your CPA to talk about a tax situation, he would sit there and he might say, well, here's your situations, this is what I like to do, let's talk about this and so forth. Then I'll be able to give you a recommendation. Same thing, it could be an attorney. When you go to the doctor's office, when you walk in and you've got a pain someplace, does he just automatically pull a pill bottle out and hand it to you? Of course not. He asks a lot of questions. He may check some things out, want to know what the circumstances are when the pain occurs. How severe is it? How does it come and go? There's a ton of things to where they can customize their solution or their recommendation to your particular situation. We as professional sales counselors have to treat ourselves and think of ourselves as that professional. The very same professional. The only difference is we don't have CPA or MD after our name. But after all, the customer's coming in and expecting you to be an expert. And you are an expert. But throwing out your money, throwing out, I've got $10,000 off or $12,000 off, is all it has done immediately is put them in a mindset of, okay, whatever he shows me or he or she shows me, I can take $10,000 or $12,000 off that price right off the bat, and they're going to start negotiating from there when the time comes. So when people ask that question, we have to learn to defer. And I'm going to tell you, this is non-negotiable. This is non-negotiable. If you're giving money away up front, you're not doing your job. You are hamstringing your entire effort to get the sale. I know you're going to have every once in a while you're going to get the customer who's going to press you. Well, if they're giving 30, I want to know exactly how much you do. Well, or how much you guys are going to do. All right, well, what home are we talking? Say this. What home are we talking about, Mr. Buyer? Well, any home. I don't know. Mr. Buyer, I don't know. We don't have any flat amount just across the board. The reason that is that a lot of the builders that are out here that are talking about those numbers, they're more of a tract kind of builder. They build the same plans over and over again. They say, here's what you get. We don't make any changes. Here's the thing. Here, look how great a deal it is. Our buyers tell us they've owned those kind of homes before. They've had to settle before. Our buyers tell us this time they don't want to settle. They want to get exactly the home they want, and they want to be able to do some customizing and get it the way they want. Because they do it that way, because I don't really know what you want in a home, right? I don't know what you want in the home. Well, until we sit there and examine that to where I can sit there and then find out what's most important to you, and you tell me, well, then we'll sit down and let me tell you what, I'll sharpen the pencil and we'll make the numbers work for you. But, is $30,000 a great deal? I don't know. Is $20,000? Is $50,000? Doesn't it always come back to one thing? It comes back to this one thing. It doesn't matter what the deal is or how much what the price is until you find a home that's right for you and your family. Wouldn't you agree? So let's take a look. And you can even add something along the lines of, Mr. Buyer, you can look around the neighborhood out here and you see, dozens of our homes and other builders' homes and here and so forth. Everybody asks the same question you do. And each builder is a good builder. We all do things that we feel like are important. It's just our buyers tell us there's certain things they expect to see by the time they're in this price range. And they felt like they got a tremendous buy on the home that they really love. And so that's my goal. Whether you buy a home from me or not, though, instead of worrying so much about what the so-called discount is, find the home that you love, because you're going to get a great deal wherever you go. Now, those are just a few examples, but we have to do this. We have to do this in order to move the sale along, because at the end, whether we're showing them the spec home out there that we're trying to move, whether it's a build job, whether they're talking about wanting to add a mega porch or a bonus room, whatever it is, if we've thrown money out up front, whatever it is, and I don't care if it's a 2%, any of it, when we've started giving specific numbers out up front, all we've done is given that money away. It has hindered us in order to be able to make the sale. So why would you do it? Trust me, it works. It's worked for years, and your top professionals will tell you, and I challenge you to find any sales trainer anywhere that will tell you any differently. So put that aside. Forget giving them the numbers. Forget throwing out things that are meaningless, because the money's only important, and you negotiate when they narrow it down to a specific home or home site, whatever, down to the specific that they love, and they ask that buying question. What kind of deal can I get on this home? Or what kind of incentive do you have if I build one of these? That's when we start talking about and thinking about how are we going to apply those incentives, not only that benefits the customer, that they perceive that it benefits them, but to where we get the sale. Think about it.